Well, this is our last day of week one of cultivating contentment. And so it is our last day to talk about discontent. So um, let's just jump in. So here's our verse for today. Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. This too is meaningless. This is from Ecclesiastes 5:10. And again, I started with the NIV. So let's go to the NLT. Those who love money will never have enough. How meaningless to think that wealth brings true happiness. So, accumulating things, it doesn't have to be money, it can be just things that we accumulate. They they never seem to bring us happiness. They bring us you know, a short amount of happiness, but then we want more, or we want something different, or, our collection's never big enough, or, well, now we need to start collecting something else. So, just the idea of these tangible things, it just never brings true happiness. So, our last quote for the week is from Nicole Johnson. You were made for more than this world has to offer you. Our yearnings, longings, cravings, and hopes are telling us something. There isn't enough love, peace, hope, friendship, and intimacy on this earth to completely satisfy us. We will always want more. That's our human nature, to want more. We want, more love. We look for it wherever we can find it. We want peace in the world, hope, friendship, intimacy. If you just watch advertisers, they just drive at these things. We see it every day in our commercials, and in on billboards and in the newspaper and magazines. There's always something that's going to promises to bring one of these things or to fulfill one of these things, but it will never be completely satisfied here on this earth, because those earthly things aren't what satisfies us. So, our questions for today, this is our last question for the week. In spite of the sinful world, in spite of our nagging discontentment, why do we hang on to our belief in the fairy tale ending? Don't we all expect things to work out happily ever after somehow? I don't know about you, but I am a Hallmark movie junkie, and we always laugh because at the end, well, Denny and I will look at each other and go, "Boy, I didn't see that coming." They all end happily ever after. If they ever want to shock us, then they're going to end one differently than that, and I don't know what would happen to Hallmark if that happened, but they always show us the happily ever after. What does Romans 5:5 say about the hope to which we cling? And then I've added one question. It's time for your honesty. Do you like getting this study a little bit each day, or would you rather have the entire week long study put out all at once? So if you could just let me know that, we can change up the format. We can do whatever we want. For me, I like doing the little chunks because I get to really read what you have to say. But if you'd rather have it all at once, I can certainly do that. So just give me some feedback on that if you have any. And then I just want to wrap up the week and what we've learned about discontent throughout all the days. So we have a natural tendency to pursue happiness. We long for contentment, and we're willing to explore every avenue available in order to achieve it. Without even realizing it, we sometimes try to fill an emptiness in our lives. That only God can satisfy. We can't satisfy our discontentment by accumulating things that this world has to offer. As you face the week ahead, take time to search your heart for signs of discontentment. Ask the Holy Spirit to bring to light the kinds of disappointment that allow bitterness and anger to take root. To what have you been turning in order to satisfy the restlessness in your heart? Pray that you, like David, can discover how God's love can satisfy your heart. I know during this time of sheltering in place that uh, there's a lot of restlessness, and there's a lot of there's only so much you can do at home. And like, my eating habits are terrible since I've been home. Um, just not even being on a schedule is terrible. Even getting dressed seems like too much work. So, so think about those things that make us restless and maybe aren't good for us, or maybe just let that bitterness or anger kind of creep into our soul. Um, if we can name those things, then we can fight those things and we can get rid of those things. So I don't know if you've ever done a Women of Faith study before, but each week always ends with this thing called Trinkets to Treasure. And if we were meeting in person, then I would probably give you something to remind you of the week. But since we're not, we're just going to use what we have around the house to help us. So you remember Goldilocks, right? We've been talking about her all week. So this week's trinket to help remind us of her search for just the right thing is going to be a teddy bear. Because you know what? Those three bears, they had just the right thing, each one of them. Mama bear, Papa bear, baby bear, they had the just right thing for them. Goldilocks was just searching for what was right for her, and had a hard time finding it. So life may be too hot, too cold, or too hard at times, but your searching can end today. God can satisfy the longing in your heart, and you can hang on to your hope for a happy ending. So I would just encourage you to find a teddy bear around your house and just set it somewhere that you pass by, just as a reminder that we don't have to try to find that just right thing, because we know that our just right thing is God, that He can satisfy all those longings that we have. And so, again, I would just encourage you to place that bear somewhere that will remind you of that throughout the next week. And so I look forward to, again, reading your responses, and we'll start our next week lesson on Monday. So have a great weekend, and stay safe.